Welcome to Breaking Limitations Show with our host, Joyce Marendes. We are here to empower, equip, and promote. Let us discover your superpower.
Hi, welcome to Breaking Limitations Show. My name is Joyce Marendes and I am your host here today. As you all know, our mission in this show is always to empower, to equip, and to promote individuals who've been able to overcome great obstacles and have discovered their own superpower. Today we have an amazing guest all the way from London, UK. She is going to share with us a story, her life story of the things she was able to overcome in order to be able to walk from pain to purpose. And she is also an author of an amazing book that I read in the plane for 2 hours because I couldn't put it down. It's called Queen Unleashed. So just stay right where you are and we'll be right back.
What limitation are you holding on to? The Breaking Limitations Mindset Journal has 63 daily quotes and scriptures that will help you break every limitation in your life. Get your copy today. Represent your commitment to breaking limitations by visiting breakinglimitationsnow.com to purchase your Breaking Limitations t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie today.
Welcome back to the Breaking Limitations Show. If you are just joining us, we have our special guest, Gladness Katega, all the way from London, UK. Gladness, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence on today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very well, Joyce. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this is so awesome. I know we've been looking forward to having you, working on our schedules and everything, and I'm excited that we are here with you on today. And I'm excited about the topic we're going to be talking about today because you've been working so consistently on the Queens Unleashed community. And today I want the whole world to be able to hear more about it because I know that you're doing an amazing job. And audience, just let me go ahead and just introduce Gladness. For those of you who do not know her, Gladness is a business consultant. She's an author. She is a purpose and passion coach and is also the founder of Queen Unleashed Community. Gladness supports women in overcoming life challenges and teaches them to rise from pain to purpose. Gladness, thank you for doing such an amazing work. If you could just go ahead and take a few minutes and just introduce yourself, let people know some of the things that you're working on.
Oh, thank you so much, Joyce. Like I said, I'm honored to be here and I'm really excited for you to have me. And so I am actually what you call a serial entrepreneur. I have several businesses. I'm a business consultant. I'm a business planning strategist for over 10 years. So writing business plans is like my daily bread. But I also found a passion in supporting women to unleash the greatest version of themselves. So I'm also an author. I have 2 books that I have written, one on business plans and one on unleashing your greatest potential. So there is so much to say about me, but I'm sure as we have the conversation, then the viewers will get to know more about me. Thank you so much, Joyce.
Thank you so much. So today I really wanted us to talk about Queen Unleashed because that actually flows with what we are talking about, breaking limitations, because I know sometimes in life we have so many limitations and some of them are just limitations we put on ourselves. Some limitations are things that have happened to us and have caused us to have limitations. And so when I came across Queens Unleashed, I was blown away with your book, and I actually read it in 2 hours when I was flying to Arizona. And so if you could just tell us a little bit about what led you to writing that book, Queen Unleashed.
Yes. And again, well done. I did say this is not the type of book you read in public, because there's lots of emotions in there. It's a testimony of my experience of overcoming an abusive relationship. So what led me to writing this book is called Queen Unleashed: Rise from Pain to Purpose and Rediscover Yourself. So I was in an abusive relationship with a narcissist for 10 years. And, you know, when I finally got the courage to leave, and, you know, there are many situations that may arise, one to finally be awakened, as I say in the book. And for me was my daughter's passing. May she continue to rest in peace. My very firstborn child, Amore, passed away a couple of years ago, and this for me was the biggest turnaround. So I found myself in this situation, lacking self-identity, you know, questioning God, like, what happened to me? You know, I grew up a very confident young lady, and, you know, I even did beauty pageants. I'm actually the first ever Miss Tanzania UK. So
Wow.
I was this awesome young. Thank you so much. So when life took a turn at a very young age, I meet this man who, you know, sweeps me off my feet, as they say. But the reason I ended up with this man is because I didn't really have my own self-identity. You know, I hadn't had or seen real love due to how I was brought up from a single parent. And, you know, all relationships around me, in my family, in my community, were broken. So, you know, I like to say I couldn't really recognize love, even if I see it. So I ended up with this wrong person. Right. And because I was young, you know, I had 3 babies with him, and I didn't know any better. But I knew something inside of me, you know, was telling me that this is not it. I was not happy. I was depressed. I was constantly crying. And, you know, I was keeping up appearances, as most people in abusive relationships do. So when finally I couldn't take it anymore, and I plotted and planned to leave for many years, Joyce. For many years. Yes. I mean, they say the average person in this kind of situation may attempt to leave up to 7 times.
Wow.
7 times, yes. So for me, it wasn't 7, it was 3. But all those 3 times I failed, you know, I kept going back. But when my daughter went to heaven, is when I came to this realization. I was so broken now, dealing with loss of a child. I really couldn't take it anymore, because, you know, you would think losing a child would bring 2 people together. And, you know, most people were saying things will be better, but they got worse. Joyce, I packed my bags and left. I packed my bags and fled, you know. I'm laughing now because before, when somebody used to say to me, you know, so you fled domestic abuse, I used to be like, no, not me. But now, when I decided to accept the truth of what I was in, because most of the time people in these situations don't realize it's abuse. I mean, he never laid a hand on me, but emotional abuse, financial abuse, you know, can be just as worse as physical abuse. In fact, it's all the same. So when I finally left, and I spent a year reflecting, Joyce, I literally locked myself up for 6 months. I didn't have visitors. You know, I was in a new place. I was homeless, you know, with 2 babies now, 2 kids under 5. No, my daughter was 6 and my son was 3. So I really had to find myself. I had to ask the hard questions, Joyce. How did you get here? I had to look at myself, comparing myself to the Miss Tanzania UK at 18 years old to 10 years later. What happened? I really had to ask myself. So I did a soul searching. You know, I started to really learn about the kind of abusive relationship I was in. Why and how did I get there? So this learning got me to understand that my real issue was lack of self-identity. And then I looked at some of the women I was already supporting in their businesses, and I wasn't doing it very well because I was in a very similar situation they were in, and I couldn't help them. So finally, I started recognizing the signals and the signs of, you know, being in an abusive relationship. And I realized that for me to come out of that, despite my challenges, you know, loss of a child, for me to be able to heal, I managed to heal miraculously by God's grace within that space of 6 months to a year. I realized there's something here. God has given me the grace to overcome this pain. And I started discovering my purpose. God started giving me dreams and showing me platforms that I would speak, people that I would help. So I realized that, you know what, I love to write. And, I said to myself, the first thing I can do is put everything that I learned, to create an awakening, an awareness, is write it in a book and share my story. And this was God telling me, right, you're gonna share your story. The title, everything, God gave it to me. And wow. I was so afraid, Joyce. I was so afraid. I was like, who's gonna listen to me, and what is the point? But I realized that my purpose was to support other women overcome their pain, support other women to awaken from these situations. Because God gave me the grace and I understood some of the, the practical things and tools that I used, I said, let me put this in a book so that I can help others. And in a nutshell, that's how I got to writing this book.
And that is amazing, amazing. And I want to just ask if you could share even with the viewers a part of the book where you had talked about your daughter passed away when you were in a different country, when you had gone to your home country. And I think that to me was so traumatic when you take a vacation to go somewhere with 3 kids and then you go back home with 2. So if you could just share with the viewers a little bit about that.
Yes. So what had happened is in the midst of trying to leave this abusive relationship, I had already planned a holiday that I would go away and just take some time I would have left, and this would have been my escape holiday. That was my plan. I had already planned it. But then when I left and I went to Tanzania, my daughter had sickle cell anemia. So she had been struggling with this illness from birth. So obviously, anybody that is aware about sickle cell, you have sickle cell crisis. You tend to pick up infections really easily. But over the years, we had, she was 7 years old. So we were really good at managing her pain. My mother is a nurse and, I took my mother with me. So we prepared ourselves, spoke to doctors, everything. We spent a whole year planning the trip. And in fact, she asked for this trip. And I was like, I cannot travel with her because I was always scared and afraid. But I said, you know what, maybe this is what I'm going to need in that time. I'm going to need to be, with my family. I'm going to need, just some time out away from the country, where I live in London. And so we went on holiday and we had a great time. But towards the last 2 weeks before we were due to come back, she picked up an infection. And we took her to hospital. They treated the infection. And Joyce, it's the traumatic, the most weirdest, and it's something that have taken a long time to deal with. But after giving her medication and everything, and the doctors were saying, well, it looks like you're going home tomorrow because we've treated the pain, she's fine. She didn't wake up the next morning. Oh, and yeah, so
sorry to
just imagine waking up and she had gone to heaven. But that night I had so many experiences. I feel like there was an angel even in the room. One of the nurses spent all night speaking to me, all night, just chatting. Wow. And this is the time she was flying to heaven, I strongly believe. And the next day, Joyce, they couldn't find this nurse anywhere.
Wow.
So it's, I laugh now, but I remember waking up and I'm like, but I don't understand what is happening. It was her time. I believe that there is a purpose to every pain. And the doctor said, had she survived and had she not healed from that, the other option would have been her, being permanently in hospital, And so I said to myself, maybe God, God must have had this work for me. And God knows, because life with her was every single week we're in hospital. It was really an experience, which I enjoyed, and God gave me the grace. But I believe that it was her time to rest. And this is why I am doing this work, because I said, now I have ample time in my hands and I am going to support other women to come out of these situations. I'm going to support other women to heal, because that's what I can do now. God said to me, okay, now what? I said, God, now what? and God said, now purpose. So that is what happened, Joyce. It was a traumatic time. It was, such a painful time, but with therapy and with the support of my family and prayers and, a lot of other things, I have managed to heal from that. I miss her dearly, but I know that we will meet again one day. So my focus right now is to take that pain, turn it into power, which I have, and use it to serve my purpose.
Wow, that is amazing, amazing, amazing. We're going to take a short break and then we will be right back.
Represent your commitment to breaking limitations by visiting breakinglimitationsnow.com to purchase your Breaking Limitations t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie today. What limitation are you holding on to? The Breaking Limitations Mindset Journal has 63 daily quotes and scriptures that will help you break every limitation in your life. Get your copy today.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm here with my friend and my guest, Gladness Katega, all the way from London, UK. So Gladness, this has been so powerful. Just hearing your story is amazing. To even know that after everything you've gone through, you are still here, you're still helping women to overcome all the challenges and obstacles that they're going through. And that is what we call breaking limitations. And so I just wanted to also just ask a question. If you could just tell the viewers about the fire. I know the people who haven't read the book, because to me, I was like, what? Even with everything you're going through, and then there's this fire. Because if you could just tell people a little bit about that.
Thank you so much, Joyce. I mean, this is why, again, you write a book, but can you really put everything in there? I had to share as much as possible, but what happened was during my daughter's funeral arrangements, what we do, I'm from Tanzania, and in Tanzanian culture, all the family would come and stay with you. So we had my whole family staying at my mother's house. So it tends to be your parents' house. And one morning, and this is the morning that I feel after, this was about a month of preparing for the funeral, having to fly back to London. We managed to bring her and went through all sorts of things to make that happen. But finally, we were preparing for the funeral, and it was about a couple of days before the actual day. One glorious morning, my healing, this was the beginning and initial stages of my healing. And I remember for the first time, because I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I was just all over the place, as you can imagine, losing a child. But that morning, I felt peace for the very first time. And I managed to wake up. And I remember my sisters, nobody would leave me by myself. But I said that morning, they had so many things to do, and they're just babysitting me. And I said, look, go, I will be fine. I woke up feeling great, Joyce. That morning, it was 8 a.m. I said to myself, let me go downstairs and, make something for myself. Everybody was sleeping. There was about 30 people in the house.
Wow.
And I went downstairs to make a cup of tea or something, but my spirit said, wake up the kids, let them join you. Joyce, I get back. As soon as I wake up the kids, my son and my daughter, and we get to the door of my room. This is my bedroom that I grew up in. Fire just burst in my room.
Oh my goodness.
Literally, it was like a movie. Just as I opened the door. So the fire started, and I'm in so much shock. I couldn't believe what was happening. The whole house burnt.
Oh
Joyce, the entire house was in flame. And this is us in the middle of funeral arrangements. So that's what happened. And, again, it was another thing. It's like everything was happening at the same time. We have never had a fire in our family, everything was happening all at the same time. We thank God for insurance and stuff, it was restored. But again, I talk about this in the book because, I believe things will happen in your life, but you have to look at, okay, how can I take this thing and look at the good side of it? And for me, the good side was, okay, what if I was still in the room? The Holy Spirit woke me up that day for a reason. So I forged ahead because I'm like, forget the fire. There is a purpose for my life, because for God to wake me up that morning, you know, whatever the enemy had planned did not work, or whatever it was did not work. And for me, that is just more reason why I thrive to call the notion of pain to purpose.
Wow, this is just, you know, when I read that book, I felt like it was a movie. Like, how could so many things happen at the same time to one person? Because sometimes someone just losing a child, their lives would be, that's the most devastating thing that can happen. But then again, it happens in a foreign country, and then your house burns down, and just so many things. And some people can even almost say that I think I'm just cursed, or God is not with me. But I'm amazed at how you are able to take all that and take it as a learning experience. And then you've created a whole community that is helping hundreds of women around the country. Because I know in the Queen Unleashed community, we have women from all over the world. And so I'm just so proud of what you're doing. And I just want everybody to be able to just get to know more about you. And so if people want to reach out to you, how would they be able to find you? What are your social media platforms?
Yes, social media is great. So I'm very easily found on Instagram at Gladness Official. I am also on YouTube at Gladness Official. I am on Facebook at Gladness Official page. Twitter, it's Gladness, and LinkedIn, Gladness Katega.
Wow. So guys, if you want to be motivated, or you just want to join the Queen Unleashed community, you need to make sure you are following Gladness on all her social media platforms, because she always has content, great content, especially if you're in the business arena. And I know we got to meet because of business, and now it has flourished into a friendship and all that. And just she has a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom. She has gone to school to do a lot of big things in business. And so she, like, her resume, I couldn't even read her resume because I was like, you just have to introduce yourself. But she has wealth of knowledge, helping women all over the country and even in Africa. Could you just tell us a little bit about your passion in helping women, especially in Africa, to become more entrepreneurs?
Yes, absolutely. Because after my experience, Joyce, I realized that, you know, what we go through here in the first world, as they say, in the UK, US, and whatever, you know, women in Africa are going through the same and much worse, and they don't necessarily have the opportunities that we have. So for the last 5 years, I started an organization called I Am Womanpreneur Limited, alongside Tanzania Business Club, which really supports entrepreneurs in Tanzania to get any support that they may need to start a business, grow a business. And so I do a bit of coaching, business development, and also sourcing for investors for them.
Okay, wow, that is amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm so proud of what you're doing and all the lives that you're touching around the globe. And I'm even excited because we are now able to use technology to be able to reach more people, and more women are able to have more access to you than before. So Gladness, this is amazing, amazing, guys. I'm just so happy that you are able to take the time to be with us here at the Breaking Limitations show. So we're going to be right back after this.
Represent your commitment to breaking limitations by visiting breakinglimitationsnow.com to purchase your Breaking Limitations t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie today. What limitation are you holding on to? The Breaking Limitations Mindset Journal has 63 daily quotes and scriptures that will help you break every limitation in your life. Get your copy today.
Wow, this was such a powerful conversation. And Gladness, thank you so much for just visiting us on today and just sharing your powerful story with us. And viewers, I just want you to know that no matter what you're going through, just know that there's a purpose for everything that you're going through. And this is why we have this Breaking Limitations show. We want you to know that there's hope in every situation. No matter what you go through in life, you'll be able to break limitations if you change your mindset and change your perspective and just look for hope in every situation that you're going through. So be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, and we are looking forward to seeing you again next time.